Okay, guys, welcome back. This is a replay of the episode that we did at 4 o'clock today. Today is our very first self-care Friday session, so I'm really happy to chat about this topic. Today we're going to talk about how to protect your brain um, during this period, especially when all of you are really having many Zoom meetings back to back. So hello there, thank you for joining me on Facebook Live again, and for those of you who's joining me for the very first time, thank you and welcome. So we're going to just wait for a few minutes for other people to come in to join us. In the meantime, for those of you who is not familiar with me, I am Joy Ling and I am from Singapore. I'm a positive leadership coach. And so I'm also known as the superpower activator among my clients and my students. I use strengths development and positive psychology tools to empower leaders in their growth and in the growth of their employees to maximize business performance and also their employees' well-being and performance too. So I'm going to share a fun fact with you since we're going to spend so much time on Facebook Live. I would like you to be a bit more comfortable with me. So I don't like to drink plain water. I find it boring. So every day I drink fruit infused water, and I've been doing that for the last 2-3 years because it's healthy and it's kind of like less boring because there's some light taste in it, like lemon, cucumber and so on. So you know how you need to treat your kids to eat healthy food by doing some stuff. So I'm kind of doing that to myself, tricking myself to drink water. Well, what can I say? It's been 2 to 3 years, so it works, and that's what I drink every day, fruit infused water. What about you? Have you tried it? If you have, comment below. Now I want to do a special shout out to Danny, Chin and Aman. Thank you, Danny, for your continuous feedback about our Facebook Live, and I really appreciate it. And also gratitude for giving us a very positive review on our Facebook page. It's very encouraging for me to push forward with our free Be Well series. And Aman, even though you're always so busy with your back-to-back work meetings, I really appreciate how you still will check in on the Facebook Live, listen and watch the videos after you're done with your work. I appreciate the support, so thank you guys. And of course, a really very special shout out to Kevin Cheng as well. This is the man who is behind the scenes, making sure that we are all being supported in our learning journey as we venture to be well together. So, okay, now where are you watching this from? Share with me your name and share with me where you're from, and I would like to get to know everyone a little bit more. So what are we going to cover today? Today we are going to recap on what we have learned on our last Facebook Live on Wednesday, where we covered mindfulness from the inspired acronym of Humanity United. We're also going to learn about what are all the free resources that's available from this Be Well COVID-19 free series. And also what I'm excited about is the upcoming Strongest Self in COVID-19 course that we're going to launch on the 12th of May. We're going to check in on our feelings. We want to make it a habit to have a daily check-in on our emotions. We're going to learn about how to protect our brain and what is the difference between an energized brain and a depleted brain. What are the hormones that can help us to maintain the health of our brains, our minds. We're also going to learn how to manage online meetings while still staying balanced and connected. So given this current pandemic that's going on, we are giving this free COVID-19 Be Well series to support everyone's well-being, to support your mental health. This Be Well series consists of Facebook Live, consists of a Strengths and Joy podcast, which is available on Anchor FM and Spotify. We also have a We Are Healthy, Well and Connected Facebook page. There is a private Facebook group that you can join, which is Strengths and Joy Podcast Facebook group. We also have an upcoming free well-being online course for you. So lots of stuff. I'm going to share a little bit of each of these resources, and you can see what works for you. And then we're going to refresh our memory on what we have covered on the last Facebook Live. Our Facebook page, We Are Healthy, Well and Connected Despite COVID-19 page, is about the free resources that's available out there given by the individuals, organizations and companies to support one another in this crisis. We are also going to share heartwarming stories with you about how humans are stepping up in our care and concern for our neighbors, for our communities, and for humanity in general. You are welcome to share all these stories of love as well on the Facebook page. We are looking for more Be Well and On Connected ambassadors who can share with us how they are taking care of their well-being and how they are using technology to continue with their own growth and development. So please like our Facebook page, We Are Healthy, Well and Connected, and better still, be our ambassadors. We have a private Facebook group called Strengths and Joy Podcast Facebook group that is going to be officially open on the 20th of April, but you can join in already, so come and be an early bird. Early birds get a free e-copy of my book From Zero to Shakti, and you also stand a chance to win a one-to-one strengths coaching session with me. So come on, join in, go to Facebook and search for Strengths and Joy Podcast group. I'm very excited about our upcoming course, which is the Strongest Self in COVID-19. We're going to launch it on the 12th of May. This is an 8-week course with weekly themes on strengths development and well-being strategies, where we will teach you how to activate your superpower habits with your flying cape on. It consists of what I take my clients through in a typical strengths development training course, except that this is way more power packed, because for the very first time we are combining strengths development with well-being strategies to help everyone to cope in this COVID-19 crisis. So it is definitely a superpower 2-in-1 program. So if you're finding yourself feeling low more often than before, if you're a parent struggling with your own well-being while still maintaining your confidence to take care of the well-being of your children, or if you're a leader who is at a loss at how to maintain your employees' well-being, their morale, while still maintaining the performance level, if you are an entrepreneur who wants to lean further into your strengths, welcome Vino. Wow, it's been a long time. Thanks for joining in. So if you're an entrepreneur who wants to lean further into your strengths and want to have well-being strategies in place in your business so that you can continue to thrive in this new online business landscape, then this course is going to be exactly what's going to help to train you to maintain the well-being and the daily effectiveness of yourself and the people under your care. So this Be Your Strongest Self course consists of practical and research-based positive psychology content. We have scientific skills to help you to discover what are your character strengths and also to measure your current state of well-being. You have a one-to-one strengths coaching session with me. There is a private Facebook group where you can learn and grow together with a group of like-minded individuals. There is a weekly private Facebook Live so that we can follow up on the weekly themes on strengths with your group mates. There is a master group Zoom coaching call, and there is a subscription site full of resources beyond the course for you to continue to grow and to flourish after the 2 months course. So as you can see, it's really power packed with resources, community, everything that you need in order to continue to thrive in this climate. So I'm very excited about this Strongest Self course. It's going to be launched on the 12th of May, and the launch price for the first group is just going to be a fraction of the actual price, because I want to really take the first group out in May. And I'm only going to accept a very small group of you so that the quality of the course remain high, and at the same time I have enough attention for each and every one of you. If you would like to join in, please email us at superpackasia@gmail.com, or you can just send us a message on our Facebook page, Superpack with Joy Method. Now, the time has never been more urgent for you to show up as your strongest self. So I really urge you to join in and shine, continue to shine for yourself and the people under your care. Hi Danny, thanks for coming in. Okay, so now we're going to summarize what we did in the last Facebook Live. So for those of you who were not with us, this is a good, you can catch a glimpse of what was covered. So Wednesday's Facebook Live was about the third alphabet in the acronym Humanity United. So that is M. M represents mindfulness in this Be Well series. So mindfulness is the ability to stay fully in the present, being aware of what is going on around you, not being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on, to be non-judgmental. So research has found that we are distracted 47% of the time. That's pretty much half the time. Focused attention is when our attention is focused on, is restricted to a very specific object, which is commonly known as the neutral sensory experience of the breath going in and out. Receptive attention is when, after consistent practice, you are able to sustain focused attention. There is often a less need for you to focus on a specific object of focus like the breath, and you are now able to broaden the focus of your attention so that it's receptive to your entire field of awareness, including whatever thoughts and feelings that might be arising in the moment for you. Rumination has often been defined as the passive dwelling of negative thoughts and or feelings, and that is negatively correlated with our psychological well-being. When you catch yourself being distracted, simply label the thought or the feeling and then come back to the present. Mindfulness is recommended and a powerful mental state for peak performance and for mental health. But a question I posed in the Facebook Live, and this is my own perspective, nothing to do with positive psychology, is there a place for mindlessness? Self-awareness and radical honesty is required here. So lastly, but I think most importantly, if you can't remember anything at all from the mindfulness sharing, is that thoughts are simply mental events that have no control over us. Okay, so now you can also listen to the Strengths and Joy podcast episode 5, which is on mindfulness. That will be out on the 16th of April, next Thursday. Remember to grab the giveaway that comes along with the episode. Listen to the podcast at Anchor FM, or you can check it out on Spotify. So this Facebook Live, we are on Facebook Live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at GMT plus 8, 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. on this page, the Super Pack with Joy Method page. Using the acronym of Humanity United, we will dive into each alphabet on Facebook Live on Wednesday. So the next Facebook Live will be on Monday, the 13th April, 4 p.m. So in order to support you further with the Be Well series, we have now teams for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I'm really excited about this because it makes things more focused, more fun, and then you can have more clarity what you're going to get out of your time with me. I really appreciate you spending time, choosing to spend time with me, so I would like to make it even more focused. Monday, Super Monday. So Facebook Live now has Super Monday, where we will share with you tips on how to develop your strengths and all things related to positive leadership and sustainable performance using the Joy Method. And the Joy Method is based on the latest finding in neuroscience, applied positive psychology, and positive organizational psychology. So make your Monday superpowered. Then we have Wednesday. Wednesday is the Resilient Wednesday. In this pandemic, I would say resilient is the name of the game. Apply science-based research findings into actionable strategies that you can execute so that you can use to become more resilient, and then transfer these crucial life skills to your family and to your employees to ensure that your family and your organization possess the agility to thrive and to bounce back from this stress that is all of us are experiencing from COVID-19 so that we can continue to thrive. So let's be pandemic proof together. Last but not least, we have the Self-Care Friday. So on Self-Care Friday, we will learn about tools and techniques that we can apply for ourselves whenever we feel stressed or feeling under the weather. We will also be hearing from experts in mental health and to glean from their knowledge and experience to help ourselves, our families, and other people that's under our care. So today is the first Self-Care Friday chat. I was interviewed earlier at 1 p.m. at Being a Happy Mom Facebook page for a series of inner peace conversation. In this interview, I shared about how you can be your strongest self in COVID-19 situation. If you would like to check about my interview with Camilla, go to facebook.com/beingahappymom. So this Be Well COVID-19 series is in support of the World Health Organization call to physical distancing and staying home. Stay home and stay in alignment with your mental health, your well-being. Be supported by our free Be Well series. Embedded in this Be Well series is the gentle reminder to all of us that at the end of the day, it is humanity united. Whatever it is that you're experiencing, we are all experiencing it together in one way or another. Okay, so now it's time to check in on our feelings. We want to make it a habit to stay in tune with our feelings every day. How are you feeling right now? Comment below. Let me know how you're feeling. What is the closest word that you can use to describe your feeling right now? It is important for us to be able to identify our feelings. The ability to label our feelings help us to check in on our daily well-being and to notice if there is a need that we want to address. So I mentioned in previous Facebook Live about using a feeling wheel. So if you have one, take a look at it now. If you have saved it on your phone as I recommended, that's awesome. Pick a word that best matches how you are feeling right now. I'm keeping an eye on the comment tab at the moment. For those of you who's unfamiliar with a feeling wheel and how it looks like, you can Google and download it, save it on your phone. You can even print it out and put it on the fridge, and it can be a check-in for your whole family. So everyone is not just in touch with their own emotions, but also in touch with one another's emotion. This is how a feeling wheel looks like. Okay, so drop a comment and let me know how you are feeling right now. So in the inner circle, these are basically the main words that we commonly use to describe our feeling, but then we want to be as specific as possible. So hence the second, the outer and the outer wheel. So in the inner circle, it says happy, surprised, bad, fearful, angry, disgusted, sad. So I'm going to use this wheel right now to check in on my feeling. I'm definitely feeling positive, so that will be happy, which is this yellow quadrant here. I think that I am feeling hopeful. I'm feeling hopeful because I have done a lot of research, a lot of work that goes into our Facebook Live, our podcast episode, and even our online courses, The Strongest Self. I'm feeling very hopeful that all this that I'm sharing is going to help you, and that's really what is driving me to continue doing the work that I do. So the emotion for me right now is feeling, is hopeful. What about you? Comment below and share it with us. So because this is Self-Care Friday, and I thought let's start with start it in a fun way. So I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite well-being tool or kit? What's in your well-being kit? We all have our something that makes us feel comforted, an activity. What is it? What is that for you? And for me, I'm going to share with you one of my well-being tool, and that is this. Ta-da! This is a singing bowl. I love it. So I have this for like a year or two now. I use this to do my meditation, singing bowl meditation after my exercise. I find it very relaxing, and the sound that it makes, it really calms me down. It really helps me to slow down. So this is whenever I see it or I touch it or I hear the sound, it comforts me, and it definitely helped me to come back to being in tune with myself. So what is your favorite well-being tool? comment below and share it with me. So the first thing that I want to talk about in today's self-care, which is about how to protect your brain, is mental exhaustion. Given that everyone have to stay home now, the interesting phenomena that is going on right now is it seems that people feel more busier than ever than when they have to go out and work and come home. So many people are feeling like they are multitasking all the time, and there is this sense of mental exhaustion. I am also hearing the last few weeks about people feeling drained out because they're having like online meetings on Zoom back to back, and they just feeling that exhaustion. So who is feeling the mental exhaustion of having Zoom after Zoom sessions, working from home day in, day out? If it's you, comment below and say me. Who is feeling connected and yet disconnected from the faces that you're seeing on the screen? And who is finding themselves zoned out, zonked out, and zoomed out? Rhyme, right? Sounds good? I just made it up. So you know what I'm saying. Like, is that you? If you're feeling this mental exhaustion, comment below and say me. So what you are experiencing is mental exhaustion of the intense staring at the screen for long hours and the demand for your concentration for an unnatural extended period of time, combined with the physical stress of being seated and still for a very long period of time. So this is very bad for our well-being. So why the strain? There is a difference when you are having a face-to-face meeting and when you are having a meeting online. When we see someone face-to-face, we're able to assess verbal, body language, many different cues from the entire body, and also from the energy that we are experiencing from the person. And from there, the brain, your brain has many data points to make a decision, draw a conclusion, make predictions, and so on. When you're on an online meeting, your visual cues is very, very limited to just here, and so there is very little data point. Your brain has to work harder to achieve the same level of information, the prediction that you need to make. So hence the mental exhaustion, because your brain is actually working way harder than before just to assess what's going on with the person that you're talking to, and that become very challenging because you have to be hyper focused on very limited cues. The other reason is possibly that you, and I think most of us are guilty of multitasking. You're not giving your full attention to the meeting. You're maybe secretly texting or scrolling on social media on your phone, or maybe you are checking your email at the same time while being on call. Now, multitasking is our attempt to try to cram in more at using less time, but ultimately it might be more detrimental than you think, because you at the end of the day might need to use more cognitive load in order to try to catch up on what's being said. You might be actually doing yourself a disservice. And you might also be assessing multiple visual cues from several people at the same time, because it could be a meeting with many people, not just one. So that is really exhausting, trying to decipher how everyone's feeling and all the limiting cues that you can find. And maybe even at the same time you are trying to keep an eye on your child that's sitting not too far away from you. That is a stimulus-rich environment that actually is not a good idea for health's sake, because too much data, too much stimulus. Because of all of this, and as a result of this, human connection get pushed one side. The brain, your brain is exhausted. There is no space, no mental space for human connection. So I want to share with you what happens when your brain is energized versus what happens when your brain is depleted. An energized brain is capable of focused attention. You're able to concentrate on what's going on in the meeting. You're able to stay in the moment. and you also have very good emotional regulation because the prefrontal cortex is in charge, and this is the brain that you want to be in charge when you're in a business meeting, when you're in a Zoom call, because the prefrontal cortex is where executive function happens. Executive functions means analyzing, rationalizing, and making decisions making. So when you have an energized brain, you are focused and you are able to regulate your own emotion. You will not get too personal. If someone make a comment and then you take it personally, you won't, because that is the primitive brain job. The prefrontal cortex is executive function, and that's the brain that you want to bring on Zoom. Your energized brain also means that you are being observant. You're able to notice connections between the different points that's brought up during the meeting, or even the different feedback given by everyone in the meeting. You're also better able to make connections in your own brain, in your own thought processes. Because of all of this, naturally, you are better at predicting outcomes. Some of this meeting might require you to be able to make prediction, and that is where you will do a good job if your brain is energized. And as a result of all of this, obviously, you're capable of smart decision making. So now what happens when your brain is depleted? When you're exhausted because you're secretly multitasking and there's lots of things going on, what happened? The brain that you have at the moment would be distracted. You are unable to focus on what is going on in the moment. You're not being mindful. You're all over the brain. Heard of the saying scattered brain? Yeah, that's probably a sign that your brain is depleted. And also because of that, your prefrontal cortex is not in charge. What's in charge is the other brain, the primitive brain, the brain that reacts. This is the brain, the emotional brain. This is the brain that does the fight or flight. So that is not a good brain to bring to meetings, because as a result of that, you might end up being impulsive. You might exhibit impulsive behavior. And when your brain is depleted, that's when you are unable to focus, lack of concentration, you lose the train of thought, your own train of thought, you lose the thread about what's going on in the meeting, you also cannot join connections. And as a result of that, you cannot see the implication, you are unable to predict, and subsequently, you probably is in danger of making unwise decisions. So can you see, it's really important which brain are you bringing into the meeting, and whether the brain stays throughout the meeting. Is it an energized brain that you're bringing into the meeting, or is it a depleted brain? So the good news is there are some hormones that we can look into to address it. We can look into increasing these hormones that support the health of your brain. So I'm going to talk about these two hormones. First is dopamine. Now, dopamine is involved in the reward, motivation, memory, attention, and even regulating body movement. When dopamine is released in large numbers, that's when there is feelings of pleasure and reward, and it motivates you to repeat a certain behavior. There are certain ways that we can try to increase our dopamine levels naturally, and it involves food. You can eat lots of protein. Protein means lean meat, eggs, dairies, soy, tofu, seeds. You might want to also eat less saturated fat. That's not good for your brain. Consume probiotics. Now, the gut is sometimes called the second brain, right? Heard of the phrase gut feel? Well, science has proven that it is actually accurate, because your gut contains a large number of nerve cells that produce many neurotransmitter signaling molecules, and that includes dopamine. Certain species of bacteria that live in your gut are capable of producing dopamine, and that will impact your mood and your behavior. Okay, another way to increase dopamine is to exercise often, because exercise can improve your mood and may boost dopamine levels when you perform it regularly. Even 10 minutes of exercise can make a difference, but the recommended minimum time is 20 minutes. Sleep helps as well when you are getting regular high quality sleep. You may help to keep your dopamine level balanced and will help you to be more alert and high functioning during the day. A fun way to increase your dopamine is to listen to music. So there are several brain imaging studies that have found that listening to music increases the activity in the reward and pleasure areas of your brain, which is rich with dopamine receptors. And meditation is another good way to increase your dopamine naturally. Meditation is the practice of clearing your mind, focusing inwards, and letting your thoughts float by without judgment or attachment. Research has found that this benefit may be due to increased dopamine levels in your brain. Sunlight, getting enough sunlight will help, because when you have periods of low sunshine exposure, it can lead to reduced levels of mood boosting neurotransmitter that includes dopamine, and sunlight exposure will help you to increase the level. You can also consider supplements. Your body needs several vitamins and minerals in order to be able to create dopamine, and that includes iron, vitamin B6, and so on. If your body is deficient in any of these nutrients, then you will have trouble making enough dopamine to meet your body's need. So that's the first hormone that can help us to protect our brain health, dopamine. The second one is called oxytocin. That's my favorite. Have you heard of this term? It is commonly known as the love hormone or the love molecule. So oxytocin is the chemical foundation that you need that for trusting others, for trust and connection. It is activated by positive social interaction. It makes us want to care about others in tangible ways, and it motivates us to want to work together for a common purpose. So now you know where I'm going with this. So if there is an activity that you do and it causes a spike in your oxytocin, which can be measured by the blood, by the way, because when there is a spike in your oxytocin, the same corresponding spike can be seen in your brain. Now, this brain oxytocin is most responsible for our behavior, and the blood oxytocin gives us a window to show what's going on in our brain. So my question to you then, how can you increase your level of oxytocin when you're interacting with others in the meeting, in the Zoom call? And by doing so, increase your empathy and compassion towards them. So my question to you is, what is it that you can do to create that connection and bonding with the other people in the meeting? That is, at the end of the day, what matters the most. That is what's going to nourish your brain. That is what's going to energize your brain. Human connection. That is what matters the most, and this is a skill that anyone can learn. You want to know as much as possible what is it that the other person wants, the other people in the meeting, what is it that they want. We all want different things, and depending on the context. And yourself, what is it that you want from this meeting? What matters the most? And you want to connect with that which matters the most. For some people, it could be belongingness, inclusion, social interaction, being accepted. For someone else, could be about security and system and structure and consistency, because that maybe give the person a sense of safety. Or could it be about freedom, autonomy, independence, being the ability to make a decision and the ability to take a risk, to be able to take a risk in the meeting, allowed to make a risk, take a risk in the meeting? Or is it about significant, about giving quality work, about achieving the results that I want, and being able to move the needle? For some other people, it could be ultimately all of this is about purpose, me leaving a legacy, me doing something for the greater good, and me wanting to change the world. What is it for the other person? What is it for you? You want to connect to what matters the most to you in this specific situation that you're in this specific meeting that you're in. Find out what matters to you and to those in the session. When we can sense possibilities, dopamine is released as well. So earlier I've shared all those situations about the depleted brain. Did any of it relate to you? Could you relate to anything? Comment below if something, if you have an insight, so that I can have a look at your comment. Now I'm going to give you some tips about how you can manage online meetings while staying balanced and connected. Okay, now all of these suggestions that I'm going to give you basically have the same background, the same baseline, which is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the key. Now, mindfulness is the ability to stay fully in the present, to be aware of what's going on, and not to be overly reactive or to be overwhelmed by what is going on. So the first suggestions that I'm going to give you is to ground yourself before each meeting. Don't rush into the meeting. If you can, come in a few minutes earlier. Sit down, get comfortable, close your eyes, give yourself a few minutes, just focus on your breath, just use your body to be grounded. Feel yourself in the chair and feel your feet, feel the soles of your feet on the ground, feel the wind or the aircon blowing on your skin. Use your body sensation to help you be grounded and to stay in the present. Allow yourself to come fully in the moment now. And when you can do that, then you're ready for your Zoom meeting. You are ready with an energized and peaceful brain. If something is bothering you, you're coming in disturbed by something, or for whatever reason not in a good mood, you want to just be able to put that down, put it one side, and you can tell yourself, I will address this after the meeting. Okay, or you can even literally do a visualization exercise where you in your mind's eye visualize yourself dropping this thing that is bothering you in a basket, cover it with a blanket, and then looking at the thing and say, don't worry, I'm still here and I will come and get you later after my Zoom call. For some people, visualization helps a lot. In fact, super achievers have coaches that train them to do visualizations. So another tip that I can suggest to you is to really greet each person that appears on your screen. Different people are probably going to come in at different timing, and offer your attention, offer the gift of your full attention to each person as their face appear, provided the group is not huge. Do that because you give yourself that moment of connection. Remember, at the end of the day, that's what's going on here. We want that connection. Connect with each person the moment they come in, so that you can feel connected to the energy and the space in the room. Another suggestion is, if you're using Zoom and if you are the one in charge of the meeting, if can, choose the option of speaker view instead of gallery view, because gallery view is just like too many faces. Your brain doesn't know where to focus. When you choose speaker view, you are focusing fully on the speaker. First, you're giving the gift of your undivided attention. Secondly, you are teaching your brain where to look at, where to focus. And thirdly, you are truly respecting the person who is speaking at the moment. And in that whole process, connection is established. Another suggestion, a huge one, no multitasking. I know it's hard, it's challenging, right? The temptation is there, temptation is everywhere, but you really want to stop. Like I mentioned earlier, Harvard research have shown that we are distracted 47% of our time. That is crazy. That's half of our life. So you want to be able to focus in the moment, choose to be fully engaged in what's going on, so that it will be a more productive time. When your brain is engaged, remember, when your energized mind is capable of focused attention. If you don't have an energized mind, then you're going to be mindless during the meeting. It's not going to be productive. So the next suggestion that I'm going to make is to take breaks in between and make it a priority. Schedule in the break. If you are not the one in charge of the meeting, request beforehand that there is a break for this long 2-3 half a day meeting, and during the meeting, get up, have a drink, talk to someone, or just do something different. Give your brain a quick break so that when you can come back refreshed and energized again. Remember, we want to bring the energized brain into the meeting. We want to keep the brain there as much as possible throughout the meeting. And lastly is this point that I'm going to make now. This is a new situation that we're having a new normal, so we are all still experiencing what that means. So now there is this interesting in-between space between presence and absence. No one's really fully present with us because they are not physically in front of us, they are on screen. And yet at the same time, no one is completely absent from us because we can still see them on the screen. So there is this weird space in between that we spend a lot of our time in, especially if you have a lot of Zoom call. Welcome, Leon. So what is this space? We don't know. This is new territory and we are still trying to find out. So have this awareness of what's going on. This is a discovery stage for all of us. So all that we can do now is to use what neuroscience have discovered about the hormones I've shared to help us to maintain and to continue to show up in our Zoom meeting with the energized brain. So this is a new space. We don't know how to manage it, how to optimize it yet, but we are discovering. So during this time, please give yourself a lot of self-compassion. It's okay if some days doesn't feel so good. You just want to constantly work on it. So this is a weird space that we are in. So have that awareness and practice self-compassion. So be open to discovering this new space between presence and absence. I would recommend you to listen to the Facebook Live on Wednesday because we talk more in depth about mindfulness. That would be a really great supplement for you to what I've shared with you today about how to protect your brain health. And this Facebook Live on Wednesday is also available on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, you can Google Super PAC. You can search Super PAC Joy Ling. Okay, so what's your deepest insight from our chat today? Comment below and let me know. And what about yourself? Do you have any tips about protecting your brain? And what have you been doing to take care of yourself during all these long Zoom meetings? Comment below as well. Let us learn from you too. So if you're not watching this live, still feel free to comment below and fully participate. So we've come to the end of our chat about protecting your brain. I'm going to summarize the tips that we have for staying connected and balanced during our online meetings and tips about brain health. Now, mindfulness is the ability to stay fully in the present, to be aware of what's going on, not to be overly reactive, not to be overwhelmed by what's going on around us. The ways that you can increase your dopamine is you can eat more protein, eat less saturated fat, consume probiotics, exercise often, get enough sleep, listen to music, meditate, get enough sunlight, and consider taking supplements. The ways that we can manage our online meetings while staying balanced and connected is ground yourself before each meeting. Really greet each person that shows up on your screen. Choose the speaker view on Zoom if you can. No multitasking, and make it a priority to have breaks in between and be open to discovering this new space between presence and absence. You can listen to the Strengths and Joy podcast episode 5 on mindfulness. It's available next Thursday on the anchor.fm/superpack. Remember to take the giveaway that comes with the podcast episode. So as I shared earlier, I'm really excited about this Strongest Self in COVID-19 course that we're going to launch on the 12th of May. This is an 8-week course with weekly themes on strengths development and well-being strategies. We will teach you how to activate superpower habits with your flying cape on. So to support everyone in this COVID-19 crisis, I have for the very first time combined strengths development with well-being strategies, a superpowered 2-in-1 program. So if you are finding yourself feeling low more than normal, or if you are a parent struggling to manage your own well-being while maintaining your confidence to taking care of the well-being of your children, if you are an entrepreneur who wants to lean in further into your strengths and to have well-being strategies in place so that you can fully concentrate on how to thrive in your business in this new business landscape, or if you are a leader who is concerned about how to manage your employees' well-being and morale and sustain their performance in this new work from home environment, then you are going to be blown away by how useful this course is going to be for you. For whatever that you learn, you can then now share with the people under your care. The focus area in the Strongest Self in COVID-19 course will be on how to discover, activate, and amplify your character strengths, how to develop habits that can help you further reinforce your strengths into lifelong routines and practices so that you can accelerate your personal performance and maintain your well-being with minimal or zero willpower. Also learn how to use your strengths to help you achieve your specific goals for business and for well-being, how to tap on the superpower strengths of the people around you for high quality relationships and for fulfilling your own goals and purpose. Now, the launch price for this course will only be a fraction of the actual cost for the first group because I want to get started in May and I really want to support everyone in this pandemic period. The class size is going to be small because I want to maintain the quality, and I also want to make sure I have enough attention for each and every one of you. The time to show up as your strongest self has never been more urgent. So I urge you to show up for yourself. Come and join us for this course. If you are interested to find out more, you can email us at superpackasia@gmail.com, or you can send us a message on this Facebook page, Superpack with Joy Method. So remember to like our Facebook page. We are healthy, well, and connected. Better still, come and join us, be our ambassador. Thank you, Yvonne, for sharing. You're saying not to be overwhelmed, care for yourself, be early to meeting, be grounded, greet everyone that appear in meetings. I need to take care of myself more. Thanks for sharing. Wow, you are definitely I am thinking one of your superpowers could be detailed. You're really detailed in taking notes here. So good on you, Yvonne. Yes, you're right on. Lots of great tips there that you have taken note of. So join us also on our Strengths and Joy podcast Facebook group. It's a private group to share what insights you have gotten from our Facebook Live, and maybe even share your struggles. This is the Facebook group is meant to be a safe space where we can share about our struggles, our learning insights, where we can declare our inspired action, and we can together hold each other accountable and support each other in our well-being. So this is a special request that I have right now. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and search for Superpack Joyling. Superpack Joyling. Thanks so much. So the next Facebook Live is Super Monday, which will be 13th of August. That is our very first Super Monday. I'm excited to do that. We're going to talk about strengths, superpower. So I'm going to leave you with this. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. People leading strengths-based life, they go beyond. They thrive. In Strengths, we activate joy. Thanks for showing up. Till the next Facebook Live. Be healthy, be safe, be connected. And this is Joy.